Gotham City always brings a smile to my face. Winged freak terrorizes. Wait till they get a load of me.
Hello and welcome to a special Geekcast Radio. Well, special episode number 2 of the Batman 14 Death of the Family.
Yes. Oh man, this series it's going to emotionally scar me by the time it ends. I will say, reading Batman 14, I did not have the same shock as I did 13. But there were a few shocking moments in it for me. And obviously this is going to be a spoiler-free review. Last time we did this, I basically said that the last 2 pages of Batman 13, I could not unsee what happens in those pages, and I'm still not going to spoil it for anybody that hasn't read the book yet, which, if you haven't read it yet, go get it now. But Batman 14, it kind of surprised me because the shock kind of came in the middle of the issue versus the beginning or the end. And as always, this is continuing the Death of the Family story, as you said, and we get to see more of what Joker's doing in this.
Yeah, and you get to see that Joker has become so unpredictable that he's predicted everything Batman's going to do with his Bat family.
Yeah.
And in the process, he's doing a lot of his original crimes with a new twisted twist on them. He's basically inverting them or cutting to the chase a lot faster and then gloating.
Yep.
Intentionally to screw with Batman's head.
Yeah. Now I'm going to be very vague here without really spoiling it, but the bridge scene, the bridge panels, when he's like, Joker's like, I did this, Batman's like, this is how it is, Joker, right? This is how it was last time. You remembered bats, etc., etc., etc. But as you just said, Joker has essentially hit the fast forward button on it and done everything else that he would do after the first confrontation would happen. And it's so psychological.
Yeah, that, and I love the fact that when Joker does that particular scene, he starts calling Batman his king.
I found that creepy.
I found that very creepy. He's calling Batman his king and then saying, your faithful court jester.
Yeah.
And, and what does the jester do if not delivered news to the king? Bad news, especially. The worst.
Yeah,
he's tearing Batman apart psychologically and physically, and unknowing to Batman, he sent some of his own Bat family right into the Joker's trap.
Yeah.
Without actually knowing it, because the Joker knew what was going to happen. It's just, it's so... And I gotta say, too, the art in this series, it has been phenomenal. Plus, it's been creepy.
Yeah, Greg Capullo does amazing stuff with the art in 13 and 14 so far. I knew reading 13, and this is not a spoiler, I knew reading 13, and I had not read the stories previous, so the Joker coming back was like, it was just bringing me into, like, I had to catch up on what the hell happened like a year before 13. And when I was reading 13, and I know this is a review of 14, but when I was reading 13, they're talking about how his face got ripped off, etc., etc., etc. I mentioned to you off air about how I think that the wires in his face are just so creepy, and you were like, well, yeah, that's to keep his face actually attached to his skull. Ugh, mm, it's just so creepy. But no, Greg Capullo does an amazing job with the artwork in it. I love the page with Gordon and Batman. That's an awesome panel right there. The cover is awesome. Well, at least I think the cover of the first printing issue, not the alternate, because there apparently is an alternate cover. The one that everyone's going to get is the one with Joker sitting in a bunch of front of TVs in a Joe's Garage uniform.
And the alternate one is of Batman and Harley on the cover, which
Yeah.
more than likely, unless you happen to be one of the people that snags it early from your comic shop, that's probably going to be the one that they mark up and they put in the bin for like $6.
Yeah.
Just because it's a variant, and the Joe's Garage one with the Joker with facing the monitors, that's just the prime cover. But they're going to have a lot of the different variants as the series goes. Like Detective Comics 15, I believe, is going to have the Joker's face over top of Batman's again.
Oh, okay.
Cool. And then in Suicide Squad 14, they had that with Harley's face and Joker's. So I mean, there's a lot of diving between the different Bat family or the Joker's family, in essence.
Yeah.
Between all these different lines. However, the main Batman line is the prime, the meat of the story. You get a little bit of the side dishes in the other different comic lines, depending on what level. Like Suicide Squad, I know the Joker and Harley go round and round in that one, but it depends on the Joker's level of involvement with whoever it is, whether he's a main presence in those stories.
Right, yeah. And I do have to say that although you're reading those issues, I'm not reading those, but I'm reading the Batgirl ones because I want to see what happens there. And the Batgirl covers are just amazing. The art by Ed Benz or Benez or however you say his name is, just absolutely amazing. I wasn't able to get the original first printing cover with Joker's face over Batgirl, but I was able to get the reissue. And I love the reissue of 13 and the not the reissue, but the main first printing of 14. It's just creepy as all hell, and what they're going to do in the Batgirl series to her with Joker is just, ugh. I don't think it's a spoiler to say that, because I've heard it said other places, and if this is a spoiler, people fast forward or pause it. Supposedly, the climax of the Batgirl storyline is going to be that Barbara and the Joker get married. Why, DC? Why would you have your victim marry her attacker?
It's going to get worse.
Oh no, I know it's going to get worse, but I'm just saying it's like I don't know, but yeah, I mean, Batman 14 specifically, it moves the story along. It moves it along faster than I thought it would. I did not think that they were going to reveal right away. I thought it would have been issue 15 that they would have revealed that Joker knows a secret, a certain secret. It's just, I don't know. I'm really loving reading these books. They're just absolutely amazing. Scott Snyder is crafting an amazing story.
Oh, and like I said before, in addition to what he's done here, it's going to be done again later on in 2013 with more Joker outside of Death of the Family.
What else are they gonna do though?
There's so much twisted crap. I mean,
Yeah.
Even in, for instance, Batman 14, there's this, you know, little mini thing at the end between the Joker and the Penguin,
Right.
and you know it's completely different artists and all that kind of stuff, but uh, it's still Scott Snyder writing it. Um, but it's every little piece in all of these different bat lines or anything associated with Batman.
Hmm.
It all ties together into the Joker, and it's I've heard rumblings of possible Justice League having to interfere,
That would be interesting.
especially because the Joker's never really kind of warranted that kind of attention.
Outside of
Uh,
the animated
yeah,
series.
well, that was
In,
just
in, in comics, he
yeah.
hasn't yet. Um, but no, I often, well, when I first got Batgirl 14 and Batman 14 this month, as soon as I was done reading them, I made a post on Twitter and I was like, made a post on Twitter and Facebook. I was like, how do you regular comic readers go a month between issues? And then, of course, most people say, oh, well, we read way more. We read, tons of Marvel and tons of, all these different books. And I'm just not a person where I outside of the fact that I don't have the money to be buying every single issue that comes out, I'm also the type of person that I need to limit and focus my comic reading and not go nuts and buy everything because I'm not interested in everything. Originally I wasn't even gonna get the Batgirl stuff, but that Batgirl 14 cover just called to me. And like I said, I got the reissue of 13, the second printing, and I'm liking it, and I'm loving the Batman stuff as well. But it's like once Death of the Family ends, like I really have no more need to go to the comic shop anymore until new Joker stuff comes out from Snyder or whatever else. It's like I didn't get into this to just start collecting comics. It's not what I got it into it for the storyline. Um, you know, but overall, I mean, Batman 14 was it furthered the story along so well. Um, and again, like I said last time when we reviewed 13, I have no idea what's going to happen in 15. No clue. All as I know is what happened at the end of this one, and I'm like, okay, December needs to get here now because I want to know what happens next. As far as that side story that Snyder's writing with the Joker and the Penguin, I got to that and I was like, what the hell is this? And then you had said it, well, it's been in a couple of the other issues, and I was like, oh, okay. And apparently it's just a continuing side story. It's kind of like not a prelude, but it's
Yeah, there's little side stories at the end of
yeah,
every issue that kind of is another piece, but it ties into another comic, and but
yeah,
it's still a piece of the main line in essence, but it's not actually necessary.
yeah. Um, the but like I said, the writing in 14 was just as good as in 13. The art, just absolutely amazing art from Greg Capullo. I don't know. What are the thoughts do you have on 14 as far as the story goes and the art and stuff?
The art, as always, is awesome. I obviously know Batman's not going to die, so I can at least say that part. It's interesting how far off, like bad his he is after getting out of the Joker tank. Uh, but
Yeah.
yeah, and then there's a crazy altercation between Gordon and Batman and Nightwing and Batman. I mean, it's Joker's definitely done his homework over the last year.
Oh yes, he has.
And it's going to be interesting to see who actually survives this whole death of the family plot line and who doesn't make it. I think it would be a shame to kill off any of them, I know that they're, it's in essence the Joker trying to make Batman a better Batman like he used to be, less
Hmm.
reliant on people. So I'm wondering who's going to make it past.
I don't see okay, I don't get how Batman. I don't understand the Joker's thinking here of how Batman is reliant on all these other people. Okay, Alfred. Alfred's his butler. Alfred is essentially his father. For all intents and purposes, because Thomas Wayne got killed. You know, I don't see how that's taking away from who Batman is, and even reading 14, it's like there's a page where um, Batman and Nightwing are talking, and Batman's like, "No, I have to do it alone." So I don't see where the Joker's coming from of how Batman is relying too much on the rest of the family to be the hero that he is. I don't see it. So I don't know. Like I said, I'll have to wait and see what his ultimate plan is.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you, like I said, the moment for me that made me just my jaw hit the floor like 13 was the last two pages in this one. It was in the middle of the book when Bruce comes home and Alfred's not there, and that's all I'm gonna say. Because what happens after that, I was like, "Holy shit, that did not just happen."
Yeah.
And he Joker replies to Alfred in such a cynical and sarcastic way, and I was like, "Oh my god." So I can pretty much tell you folks that there's probably going to be one scene every one of these issues of the Batman line that it's probably going to shock the hell out of me.
Well, I mean, without naming who,
Yeah.
not this episode anyway. Next episode, it doesn't matter. Um, he's already taken down three,
Yep.
is in the main Batman line.
Yeah.
So it's only, left to be seen uh, what is going to happen from here.
Yeah. It's just nuts. It really is. It's so nuts. And I was looking at my issue, and I was looking at when I was looking at the cover. I can't believe. Okay, I know comics have ratings, just like video games, just like movies, whatever else. But I looked at the rating on the comic for 14, and I'll have to look again at 13 for Batman. But it's rated T for teen, and I'm thinking, no, I don't know any teenager that could handle the psychological stuff that's going on in these books. I mean, this storyline is mainly meant for us, for older Bat fans that have been engrossed in Batman, whether it be comics, animation, movies, for years. It's not meant for kids.
Oh no, no, not by any means. And I'm glad to see Batman go away from the lighter tones to the now very very much dark tones that is in all of these different issues.
Yeah, I will say in 14 when a certain explosion happens, the effect that they put on it, not necessarily the effect, but there's a speech bubble they put on it that it did kind of remind me of the 66 series.
Oh yeah, with the shark, or
um,
the other one when they're throwing the bomb out of the building into the water.
no, and when Nightwing's at the wharf,
Yeah.
yeah, and it goes boom, and it has like a bow or a pow or a biff bang pow or something. That kind of reminded me of the 66 series of Batman. But overall, I'm really loving the story. You know, you can have the whole seat, but you're only going to need the edge. I
Yeah,
mean, that's
pretty much.
yeah.
But I think that about wraps it up this issue.
Yeah,
Uh,
because like we said, we don't want to spoil it for anybody, and I've not really spoiled it, but I've said certain things that kind of give not really give away what happens, but I've talked about certain panels of what happens in the book. So yeah, I mean, next month is going to be really interesting to see what happens in Batman 15.
oh yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it and seeing what they happen to accomplish in this whole comic line.
Yeah, it's going to be very very unique, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So with that, we will see you guys next month with the Batman number 15 review, without getting too much in depth, and then we will kind of go back and state what, a little bit more detail of this issue.
Yeah. Yeah. Um. Oh, I know what I was going to talk about. I forgot to. Uh, Last month when I asked you about a flashback in 13,
Yes.
I was right. That was a flashback because 14 starts off with Batman pulling Harley out of the flashback. So those last two pages of 13, it just ends in a flashback, that issue. And then this issue, it picks up where Batman's snapping her out of, talking in a flashback. So it was a flashback because 13 went from a certain point, he got to Harley, and then she starts telling a story of the Joker. And then it starts moving forward again, but it's not moving forward in real time. It's moving forward in a flashback. So I was right.
Kind of, only in essence. It actually stopped the story there, and then the Joker's thing took place.
Right.
So, and
Right.
then this issue actually, issue 14 fits into, or at least the initial first few pages fit into that gap.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. But no, we'll be back next month, obviously, with Batman 15, and I can't wait.
Oh yeah.
This is
So, see you guys then.